I really like the Darnell Wright pick. I've been on record on that. I think it fills a need. I think it's a plug and play starter. I think that's good. Now, the defensive tackles are where I'm trying to be a little bit more cautious. And a little tease here. This morning, Corey Wooten and I spent a lot of time breaking down film from both Gervon Dexter and Zach Pickens. So we are going to get those produced and edited and out soon. So keep an eye out for one of those. But one of the themes you're going to see in the Gervon Dexter video and that breakdown is he has a great game in the game we break down, and he makes a lot of big plays, and you see the athleticism, you see the size, you see his strength, and him being able to toss guys and still make a play in the backfield when it looks like he's swallowed up and not going to be able to do anything. It's very impressive. But the other thing you see very, 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 very consistently is he is the last guy off the ball. And it's to a level that both Corey and I were very concerned about it. And it cannot just be blamed on read and react because there's literally snaps where they're playing Kentucky in this game that we break down, where Will Levis has the ball in his hands in a shotgun. Like he'd already had the ball snapped to him. The ball is in his hands, and Dexter still got his hands on the ground. So this is a big leap of trust here that the athleticism scores and how they look at explosiveness by looking at broad jump and vertical, that coming into this Bears scheme, that's just going to click, because some guys just never really have good timing and good get off, and they never really develop that no matter how athletic they are. And there's other guys, I want to say was it Jonathan Bullard? Jonathan Bullard had the greatest get off of all time. And he didn't have the rest of the package. So it's not to say that this isn't going to work, but in the Bears scheme where the get off and the explosiveness and that initial quickness and burst is so important, this is a projection. And I think ultimately when we look back on this pick 3 years later, that's what we're going to be looking at. It's going to be, did Dexter develop that and fit into this Bears scheme? Pick that up, and if he does, I think I'd say watch out, because he's got everything else, and it's very, very impressive. And quite frankly, it's very impressive because he gets swallowed up sometimes by these college linemen because of the lack of get off, and he still manages to rip them away and make the play. Now, what I'm worried about is it ain't Kentucky at the next level, man. These guys, you don't get off the ball and you get swallowed up early, you're not going to win, and so that's where this is a big projection.
Yeah, and Adam, I know Ryan Polsey mentioned that about Dexter, saying so far Dexter a little bit more of a square stance, read and mirror, kind of what you were talking about. And I wonder too, now that he's gonna have a different responsibility as a 3 tech, where you want to penetrate and get upfield, and I wonder how long that takes. Right? We don't know that. We don't have that answer yet. So for him, I mean, that's going to be the projection. Obviously, they think that with drafting him in the second round, that he could make that jump, make that transition to being more of that 3 tech. But it probably is going to take time. If he's been used to this type of defense and what his role was, it's probably going to take some time. But to kind of speak to the 3 tech, we knew that was a position too in the draft where there were some top guys, being Jalen Carter, Kalijah Kancey. You put Benton up there too. But then after that, there was a bit of a drop off in a sense. So them taking the double swing at it, for in my opinion, I think that's a good way of going about it if you're trying to still find that all-important player in this defense. And because you're going to have these guys mixed in, playing different positions as well, you want to almost have more opportunities, more swings at it. And they obviously got Bell later on in the draft. So for the 3 tech position, that it's just one approach they can take to try to fill that much needed coveted position. But for me, I kind of like that they went with 2 guys as opposed to just putting everything they have in one guy in Dexter. They did it with 3 guys essentially.
What I find, or what I'd like to ask Ryan Poles when we get a chance to do it again, is it's not like they don't have the same. They have all the tape. They saw him getting off the ball late, but they feel comfortable that he is going to be able to learn it. to me, that's almost a trait where you either have it or you don't. And that's, I think, Woot's biggest concern. But the Bears are, they are, Poles has to have a ton of faith in his coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they asked him about it, or I don't, they had to have, this is not something that we saw that they didn't see. So there's a confidence in there, which I like and also scares me at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I would.